What if the world's greatest genius was once seen as a failure? In this video, we uncover the real story of Albert Einstein, from a misunderstood child to the man who redefined space, time, and reality itself. This isn't the version you learned in school. This is the truth behind the myths, the struggles, and the breakthroughs that changed the universe forever. Watch until the end, because his biggest failure became his greatest advantage. Imagine being told that you're slow, that you don't belong in school, that you'll never become anything special. Now imagine proving the entire world wrong. This is the story of a quiet boy who struggled to fit into rigid classrooms, who questioned everything, and who would one day reshape reality itself. This is the story of Albert Einstein. But here's the truth most people never tell you. He didn't fail because he was stupid. He struggled because he saw the world differently. And that difference would change the universe forever. Albert Einstein was born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany. He didn't speak fluently as a young child. In fact, some people thought he had developmental issues. Teachers saw him as distracted, unfocused, even rebellious. But what they didn't see was what was happening inside his mind. Einstein wasn't uninterested in learning. He was uninterested in memorizing. He questioned everything. Why does light behave the way it does? What would it feel like to ride on a beam of light? Questions like these didn't belong in classrooms back then. So instead of being praised, he was misunderstood. You've probably heard the story. Einstein failed math. But that's not true. By age 15, he had already mastered advanced mathematics. So where did the myth come from? Einstein did struggle in a rigid school system in Germany. The system demanded obedience. He valued curiosity. He clashed with authority. Eventually, he left school, not because he was incapable, but because the system couldn't contain him. Later, he applied to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich. He failed the entrance exam. But here's what most people don't tell you. He passed the math and physics sections easily. He only failed the non-science subjects. That failure? It became one of the most important turning points in his life. After graduating, Einstein struggled to find a teaching job. No one wanted to hire him. Professors didn't recommend him. He was invisible. Eventually, he got a job as a clerk in a patent office. Not a scientist, not a professor, a clerk. But this is where everything changed, because while others saw a boring job, Einstein saw freedom. Every day he reviewed inventions and imagined how things worked. And in his free time, he thought deeply, obsessively, about space, time, and light. 1905. Einstein was just 26 years old, working a regular job, unknown to the world. And then, he published 4 papers that would shake science forever. One explained the photoelectric effect, which would later win him a Nobel Prize. Another proved that atoms exist. But the most revolutionary was his theory of special relativity. It introduced a simple but shocking idea. Time is not fixed. Space is not constant. Everything depends on motion. And from that came the most famous equation in history. E equals mc squared. Energy and mass are the same thing. That single idea would change physics forever. Einstein didn't stop there. 10 years later, he introduced the general relativity. This theory said, gravity isn't a force, it's the bending of space and time. Massive objects like stars and planets literally warp the fabric of the universe. At the time, it sounded impossible, but then it was proven. During a solar eclipse, scientists observed light bending around the sun. Einstein was right. And overnight, he became a global icon. The boy who didn't fit in, the student who challenged authority, the man who couldn't get a job, became the face of genius. But his story isn't about intelligence, it's about perspective. Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Because knowledge is limited, but imagination? It has no boundaries.